Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Sophie Erber.
And I'm Tim Seaman. Groundbreaking of a new law enforcement center and jail here in Woodbury County is now set.
That's right.
Details at 6. At today's Woodbury County LEC Authority meeting, members set the tentative groundbreaking for September 15th. Additionally, the authority signed off on a construction contract and bond for that project. Hausman Construction of Omaha was awarded the jail project after only 2 bids were submitted. Authority Board Chairman Ron Wick tells KCAU 9 that he's relieved to see the project moving forward, getting past some contract adversity that the board faced.
The team has managed to work our way through all of the issues, and as we said a second ago, here we are today. We've got the contract signed and we move forward.
Now, the jail price tag sits at $58.4 million, several million over the original estimate. Last week, Baker Group of Ankeny, Iowa, vetted the Hausman Company to make sure that the company was a responsible and responsive bidder.
Iowa State University will be hosting a $16 million project to study rural broadband. A meeting today brought together local and state lawmakers, along with industry leaders and representatives from Iowa State. They were all talking about how they can work together to establish broadband coverage in rural parts of Boone, Story, and Marshall counties. ISU President Wendy Winterson says that the need for broadband recently became more obvious than ever before.
Because it is about collaboration and it is about connections. And that's what this project is truly going to build, not just the virtual connections, but actually the connections that allow everyone in Iowa to be thinking about how they access broadband.
The program itself.
The project is being funded through grants from the National Science Foundation, the USDA's National Institute of Food and Agriculture, and industry partners.
Also out of Ames, police have given the all clear after apartments on the Iowa State University campus were evacuated during an investigation of a suspicious package. Normal activities resumed about 90 minutes after an area near the Frederickson Court apartments was closed off. Now, a bomb squad was on scene investigating that suspicious package found near apartment 34. Police so far have not yet said what the package turned out to be. Students were advised to avoid that area.
South Dakota's first medical marijuana dispensary is set to open Thursday. The Flandreau Santee Sioux Tribe says it will start selling cannabis the first day medical marijuana becomes legal statewide. The tribe's program is independent of the state's new law and system. The South Dakota Department of Health has until this October to launch. South Dakota is also now awaiting a court decision as to whether or not recreational marijuana will become legal within the state. And the desperate search for survivors continues after a building collapse in Surfside, Florida. At least 150 people are still unaccounted for. 10 are now confirmed dead. Officials say the way the building collapsed is leaving some indication that pockets of air could be enough for a miracle, as families still cling to hope tonight. This all while federal authorities are now on the ground. Officials from the National Institute of Standards and Technology are looking into what caused that collapse, all in an effort to determine whether or not a full-scale investigation should be conducted.
They're a fact-finding, not a fault-finding agency, and a long-term investigation of theirs would give us a chance, for me, as a member of Congress, to be able to to adopt changes in federal law that will help them make sure that when structures are built, that something like this could never happen again.
Authorities say this is the largest deployment of task force resources in Florida's history that is not hurricane related.
President Biden is working to preserve his bipartisan infrastructure deal reached last week with Republicans and Democrats. That deal has come under fire after the president said that he wouldn't sign that bill unless it was accompanied by a larger reconciliation package. KCAU 9 Washington correspondent Rashad Hudson has the details.
Good evening. The White House is doing damage control after comments by President Biden nearly brought the bipartisan infrastructure deal to a halt. But now the White House is trying to get things back on track.
Let me just reiterate, the president looks forward to signing each bill.
Last week, after announcing a deal, the president then said he'd only sign it if it was passed alongside his American Families Plan. Republicans, like Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, slammed the comments.
Endorse the agreement in one breath and threaten to veto it in the next. It almost makes your head spin.
On Saturday, President Biden said he fully stands behind the compromise deal and wasn't threatening a veto.
Which was not his intent. And he wanted to make clear that was not his intent.
The deal with Republican and Democratic senators focuses on traditional items like roads, bridges, and airports, while also expanding high-speed internet.
Those are the kinds of things we will support. Don't raise the taxes, fix infrastructure, we can get the job done.
Utah Republican Senator Mitt Romney, who helped negotiate the agreement, says he trusts President Biden will keep his word.
I am totally confident the president will sign it if it comes to his desk.
But Democrats still plan to act alone on the second piece of the president's plan.
He's long supported the two-track approach, and his view is that the American people are most interested in what we're going to do to deliver for them.
Tuesday, President Biden will take his infrastructure message on the road with a trip to Wisconsin. Reporting in Washington, Rashad Hudson, back to you.
Well, the Pacific Northwest is experiencing an historic heat wave. In many regional cities, temperatures are up to 30 degrees above normal for this time of year. Heat alerts have now been used in 7 states, including Washington and California. The heat also fueling a number of wildfires in Southern California for most of the West, I should say. This latest heat wave is expected to continue through most of this week, at least out west.
Right, I was going to say we had that kind of above average weather just a week or so ago, but not today, Tim. And Scott, you could tell us, but with these showers we've had, cooler temperatures for sure lingering in Siouxland.
Yes, we've seen some cooler temperatures, especially across northwest Iowa. That's where we've had the longest persistence of the showers and storms here over the course of the day. As we look at the radar now, you can see that we have most of the activity beginning to creep off to the north into Minnesota and Interstate 90. We are looking at some isolated thunderstorms, one moving to the east-northeast there through parts of Burt and Thurston counties. That storm capable of dropping some small hail as it approaches Ottawa. High temperatures today were in the 80s across the map. Lows tonight in the upper 50s and lower 60s. It looks like we'll have some more sunshine come back as we approach Saturday in the park later this week. All the details coming up in your 9 on 9 forecast. Sophie?
All right, thanks, Scott. And with the 4th of July approaching quickly, many people are planning to go out on the water and celebrate. And if you do plan on going up to a place like Lake Okoboji, officials say that more than 100,000 visitors are expected in that area. And that is why the Iowa Department of Natural Resources says wearing a life jacket and remaining sober while out sailing or boating is crucial for your safety and those of others around you.
Last year at the Okobojis, we saw a huge influx of people. All the boats were sold out. We had boats coming from everywhere last year. I don't know that we'll have as many people this year, but the way the weather's sounding, we're probably going to have a lot of people here on the water.
KCAU 9 News reporter Jason Toktajian explains what some people are doing to stay safe out on the water. That's coming up tonight at 10. And more than 50 Tyson Food employees are lending a helping hand to a local nonprofit.
Midstep Services helps folks with intellectual disabilities live their lives in relative independence. And the nonprofit picking up some help from those Tyson workers at their facility, aiding with the range of different types of summer projects, including beautifying the nonprofit's outdoor spaces.
Number one, you just feel better giving back, right? After everything that we've went through in the past year, I think everyone is extremely hungry to give back in whatever way that they can. But this also affects our community and also our team members at Tyson.
And that volunteer day organized by Tyson's internal group known as the Disability and Accessibility Awareness Group, or the DAA. And it's great to see Tyson and other local groups out pitching in wherever they can in the community.
That's right, especially they've been given good weather to give that helping hand.
Well, a South Dakota mother is still searching for answers years after her daughter went missing.
That's right, what we know about Serenity Denard's disappearance. That's coming up in about 10 minutes.
And we've had some wetter weather as of late, but it looks like some more warmth and sunshine is coming back to Siouxland soon as we dry things back out. We'll also have a look at how the 4th of July weekend is shaping up. It's in your 9 on 9 forecast coming up next.
You're watching KCAU 9 News with Tim Seaman, Sophie Erber, Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson, and Sports Director Jake Jones. This is KCAU 9 News at 6.
Coming back for the 4th of July as the wind spins to the south. High temperatures right around 90 for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Tuesday is also when we have a slim chance of seeing a return of some storms. Well, around the middle of last week, you may remember that we had some very powerful storms, especially in northeast Nebraska. Here's what things looked like as those storms were departing. Thank you to Juan in Sioux City for snapping this shot of a rare weather event, a roll cloud that was passing through in the wake of those storms. If you have a picture that you want to share with Siouxland, go to our website, find the weather tab, roll on down to send us your photos.
We're talking earlier about the very extreme heat out west. That's got to be hard on folks that aren't used to it in the northwest.
Yeah, incredible record-breaking temperatures. Some spots in Canada getting above 110 degrees today, so
Highly
really
unusual.
cooking.
Yeah. A lot of places that don't even have AC because it is so cool.
Right.
Exactly.
Good point there, Tim. Well, thanks a lot, Scott. For a South Dakota family, it's been more than 2 years since their daughter went missing. Their desperate search now for answers. Next.
It is every parent's worst nightmare, their child disappearing without a trace.
That's exactly what happened to young Serenity Denard in February of 2019 after she was last seen walking away from the Black Hills Children's Home Society.
And although searches have been suspended, her parents now say they're holding out hope that Serenity will one day be found. Anna Peters reports.
A smart little girl with a big personality and an unforgettable laugh. That's how Cassandra Denard remembers Serenity.
Very bubbly, blonde hair, blue eyes, beautiful. She comes in the room and Serenity's here. I mean, you know she's there. She makes her presence known.
But Serenity's family hasn't seen her smile or heard her laugh in more than 2 years. On a cold February day in 2019, 9-year-old Serenity walked away from the Black Hills Children's Home Society. No one knew where she was going or how far she would get. In the days and months that followed, searchers from around the country put in long hours trying to find any clues that could lead them to the missing girl.
It's the most extensive search probably in South Dakota history, certainly in our agency and the county's history.
As searchers scoured the Black Hills, investigators followed up on hundreds of leads, conducted search warrants, and did hundreds of interviews, but they didn't find Serenity. Today, more than 2 years after Serenity was last seen, the search is suspended, but tips keep coming in.
We get information, I'd say once or twice a month of something. We assign it to the investigator who's leading the investigation right now, and she tracks those tips down. We work with the FBI a lot because a lot of times we get tips from other areas, other states.
The Denard family is holding out hope that one of those tips will lead to a phone call saying someone has found Serenity.
We will never forget any of the victims out there.
Time to talk a little bit of sports now, and it's not exactly college basketball season, but news today.
Yeah, Iowa State new head coach TJ Otzelberger. Well, we're going to kind of talk a little bit about what kind of scratch he's going to be making while he's in Ames, plus plenty of risers in this week's edition of the Iowa Baseball Rankings. I'll tell you who's in and who's out coming up next in sports. Departed the conference, and the Huskers hoping to build on their 77-71 edge in the series, which goes back over 100 years.
Not bad.
Now knowing about TJ Otzelberger's contract, I never want to hear anything about media availability. $700,000.
Should be there beck and call, right?
Absolutely.
Thanks, Jake.
We'll check in for one final forecast. First, to take you outside right now here in Siouxland. Well, Scott, a night that I guess if you weren't into the hot weather we had last week, you can look forward to it this week.
Well, it looks like, we aren't going to have any sort of extreme heat come our way, so that's some good news. And also a little bit of rain. You can see that on the radar making a splash. An isolated strong storm to the south of Sioux City continuing to push in toward Ottawa. That storm may be capable of some strong wind gusts and small hail. So if you're in Ottawa, just make sure you're prepared for that. Once this rain gets out of our hair, it looks like we'll have a dry and sunny stretch. Pretty good weather for Saturday in the park.
All right, Scott, thanks. We'll be back tonight at 10. Have a great evening.
That's right. Good night.